All right, scholars, last topic for this unit, and you are well on your way to becoming grammar nerds. Yay, grammar nerds! Compound subjects, compound predicates, and compound sentences. And yes, all of these things are compound. I just saved space by not writing compound in front of every single one. What is a compound subject? Well, a compound subject is when you have more than one who or what in your sentence. It needs to have an and. For example, Simon and Eric played Minecraft. Once again, let's look at subjects and predicates here. I'm going to find my verb first. Played is my verb here. Who played? Simon and Eric played. If I think to myself, I have two words, I can only have one word in my simple subject. This is the exception to it. Total aside here, I told you 2 videos ago that I would talk about this in the next video, and I didn't. I talked about it in this video here, but maybe you noticed and maybe you didn't. I'm just making sure that you're really on your toes. Bonus marks if you noticed, but if you didn't notice, you can't come to me after this video and pretend that you noticed. Haha. Simon and Eric are both subject words here, both simple subject words here. I don't have to try to decide who's more important. Is it Simon? Is it Eric? Do I choose the first one? Do I choose the second one? Simon and Eric, by the way, are both equally important, and so I don't need to try to decide who I will underline. I will underline them both. Problem solved. Again, it needs to have the word and. Here's an example of what I mean by it needs to have, because it's not just more than one. The boys played Minecraft. You can see I just changed the subject sentence a little bit. Played would be my verb. Who played? The boys. Oh, the boys are more than one person, but it doesn't have an and in here. This is just a regular simple subject would be boys. Simple predicate would be played. It has to have an and joining 2 different ones. Another way to think about it is that I have to be able to divide the sentence actually into 2 sentences with the same predicate. Simon played Minecraft. Eric played Minecraft. And I'm just joining those sentences by combining the subject. Compound subject, more than one who or what. Compound predicate is more than one verb. Doesn't mean verb phrase like I have, well, let me give you an example in a second, because once again, it needs to have the word and. Cynthia memorized her Bible verse and recited it correctly. Memorized is a verb. Recited is a verb. And they have and in between them. And who did it? Cynthia did it. Oh, she's such a good girl. I have 2 different verbs, 2 different things being done. Again, it needs to have an and in between them because it can't just be a verb phrase where I say, for example, I have eaten breakfast this morning. Have eaten is 2 verb words. It's a verb phrase. That's why it's just one thing still. So it does not make it a compound predicate. Compound subject, more than one who or what. Compound predicate, more than one verb. You might notice that compound here means more than one, just like compound word, more than one word joined together. So what would a compound sentence be? More than one sentence joined together using a conjunction like and, but, or, so, yet. The kind of conjunction is actually important here because not every sentence that's 2 sentences joined by a conjunction is necessarily a compound sentence. You can also have complex sentences. That's grade 7 level grammar. We're not getting to it yet, but if you want to come talk to me about it ahead of time to learn and be nerdy like me, then go for it and I will tell you all about complex sentences. Compound sentences have to be 2 separate sentences that I could separate easily without doing any rearranging, only crossing out my conjunction and adding in a period and maybe a capital if I need to. Let's take a look at some examples. Conspiracy 365 is an amazing series, and I think you should read it. I have 2 separate sentences here. If I got rid of the and I put a period here, I would have Conspiracy 365 is an amazing series. I think you should read it. Notice that I have 2 different sentences because I have a verb here with its subject. Oh, look at this. I have more than one word, by the way, as my simple subject here because it's a proper noun with more than one word in that proper noun. And I have another verb here and a subject here where I've got 2 separate sentences, each with their own subjects, their own predicates, and all I had to do was put a period and cross out my conjunction. Next sentence, Luke finished his homework, but Liam did not. Again, if I put in a period, I would have 2 separate sentences with their own subject and predicate, easy peasy. Jason read the newspaper, washed the dishes, and left for work. This is not a compound sentence because it does not have separate sentences joined by and, or, but, yet. So I have a verb here, read, and who read? It was Jason who read. And also washed is another verb, and left is another verb. But I don't have subjects for these verbs because I have actually a compound predicate with 3 different verbs in it, right? Jason read, Jason washed, Jason left. And so this is a compound predicate, not a compound sentence. Again, I have to be able to just cross out that conjunction, put in a period, and get separate sentences. If I have a complex sentence, again, I also can't just cross out the conjunction because it will cause problems in the sentence. So if you want to ask me about complex sentences, come on up and do it, and I would love to tell you all about those. At any rate, you are ready now for compound subjects, more than one who or what, compound predicates, more than one verb that's being done, and compound sentences, 2 sentences joined together with a conjunction. Get to work, scholars. You can do it.